Get your exclusive items from JP Fans. $86 coupon with 50% off Mercury items. Link in the description. Oh yeah.
Hello, my name is Dr. Shambles, and today we're gonna have a very simple video on Rox the Zebek. Now, this is the new OP17 leader that's coming out, and usually I do videos about decks that I play or am thinking of playing, and I think I'm gonna be playing him in OP17. Now, this video is just to tell you what I found out while testing the deck. In case you don't know, you can already play this deck on the sim, but I actually been playing it before the sim, which was on Raftel. Also, the sim had the Zebek card bugged, and so I kind of went back to Raftel and stayed there till it's fixed. Now I think it's fixed, so I'm gonna be talking about how Zebek has been doing. Is he strong? Is he not? And why I'm playing the cards that I'm playing in the ratios that I'm playing them at. So let me just place this here because I'll be talking about the other cards and why I'm not including them here. So yeah, Rox is a blue deck that in its effect is already a searcher pretty much. Every time you attack, you trash one card from your hand, reveal the top deck, and if the top deck is a Rox Pirates card, you draw 2 cards. Because I'm only playing Rox Pirates right now, you pretty much are always discarding 1 to draw 2. So he's kind of the searcher of the deck, and this does come into play in the deck because all of our characters are very strong, okay? All of them. And Zebek has another thing which is... Sorry, I'm calling him Zebek. Maybe I should call him Rox. Rox has another thing which is actually very good into either going first or second. He has very good curve. If you want to play curve, I'll be talking about that in a minute. If you want to play curve, he can go either first or second. It actually doesn't affect him. It just depends on the starting hand and if you can find those cards. Now, that is the problem that I was finding with Zebek. If you wanted to play very specific cards into very specific matchups or in very specific curves, I was finding a struggle to finding those cards early on in the game, even with the Zebek Searcher. So this is why I'm playing the deck list that I'm playing right now. In case you want to try this deck list, it's on the description. You can copy paste into the sim and try it. And yeah, so you have both uneven and even curves. But this is where if you want to play on, don't want to play on curve comes in, is because a lot of your cards that are like kind of mid-range bodies, like Kaido, Stussy especially, and Linling, are so incredibly strong that if you want to, you can just play with your smaller bodies and use their effects. For example, Stussy is the best example we have here. Stussy is a 3 cost, but if you want, you can actually rest her and rest another 3 Dawn, which kind of makes her a 6 Dawn play. And then you're stopping one of your opponents from attacking, and on her on play effect, you are stopping a 6 cost or less from attacking. So you can stop 2 bodies from attacking, which makes her incredibly viable all around the game. And yeah, another good example is Gloriosa. She pretty much bottom decks a 5 cost or less, but she's also a blocker, so absolutely insane, really. And so if you don't want to play on curve, you can, but there are some characters that you kind of really want to play on curve. Why? You already noticed it. You don't have counter. Every single one of your cards is a brick. The only time it's not a brick is pretty much your events and Rox character. Both of your events are 2Ks, and Rox, if you're playing every single character, if every single character on your field is a brick, he becomes a 2K counter in hand. So that's why we're only playing bricks, so he becomes a 2K, and then your events are 2K, so we're still playing 12 2Ks. But then there are some cards that you kind of want to play on curve, which is kind of Newgate and Cheeky, because both of them have effects that once per turn, you can trash 1 card, and then you can use one of your bricks. Rox Pirates card has kind of a way to either bump your power of your leader up, like this Newgate, which by the way, you can use this both when you're attacking on when you're getting attacked. Just saying, kind of insane. And same is for Shiki, but Shiki decreases the power of the enemy's characters, and so you can only use on enemy's characters, you cannot use on the leader, opponent's leader, so take that into account. But it's also when attacking on or on your opponent's attack, so these two are one of your the best defensive tools to transform your bricks into counter in some way. You also have Lily and you have full ahead. Lily transforms one of your bricks in hand into a 1k, and then full ahead does that as well. Both of them are once per turn, so if you have both of them on the field, pretty much you have 2 1ks per turn, but then you have pretty much a 3k counter for your leader and a 3k counter to decrease the power of your opponent's characters as well on Shiki. So overall, the deck can be very defensive and offensive at the same time. All of the characters that you play are somewhat very good like to go aggro. Like Kaio is a 2 cost, but he's a 4k, so you can just attach one Dawn later on and he can swing. Don Marlon is like a 5k, so he can swing. Stussy is a 5k, he can swing. Like everybody pretty much has a pretty easy time swinging, except Strusen. Strusen is only here to bump the consistency of the deck, which is now when we get into my deck list specifically. As I said at the beginning, if you want to play very specific cards for very specific matchups, or just play a very specific curve because you know that curve will be good into that matchup in specifically. And by the way, I'm saying matchup in specifically because with the little experience I have with Zebek can actually adapt into pretty much every single matchup. You just need to search the right cards. And so you're going to be using your trashing and drawing a lot to cycle out your hand to make sure you have those decks to deal with any matchup. So I feel like it could, but like it depends, obviously. This is very early to say. But it feels like this deck will have a high skill ceiling, but it's gonna be very strong. It will be tier 0? No, I don't think it'll be tier 0, but it can definitely be top tier over there. So yeah, let's now look at my deck list specifically, now that I talked about a little bit of your strategy. Pretty much your strategy is adaptable, in case it didn't get it. It's very adaptable into the matchup. You just need to make sure you find your specific matchup cards or specific curve cards that you want to play as fast as possible. The only cards you kind of really want to play on curve, no matter what, is Newgate and Shiki. Yeah, once I get to Rocks, I need to talk him a little bit apart from the rest. But yeah, let's look at the rest of the deck list. I'll be talking about the deck list, why I'm playing this, and why I'm not playing whatever is over here. First and foremost, I'm playing 4 Strusen, 4 Q. Why am I playing 4 Q? He's actually popular at 2, but a guy on Discord told me to try him at 4 because I actually complained that I wasn't finding the deck that I needed. Although I just know this deck has adaptability, but not finding the deck that I wanted. Sometimes I really wanted to make my to draw 2, or to make my opponent think about trashing 2. So I really wanted Lily. I wasn't finding her. Just an example. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you miss the curve of wanting to play cheeky, and so it's like you really need to search your best bodies and adaptability. So that's why the guy told me, hey, just play Kyo at 4 and Strusen at 4. Why? Kyo draws you a card. Not only that, Kyo is a 4k power, as I said, so you only need to attach one Dawn, which is not that hard in this deck, by the way. You swarm the board pretty fast, so having Dawn to attach to this guy can be kind of easy. It's tricky to say, but it's not hard, so yeah. But he draws a card, and only that on the later on in the game. If you're not going to use him to draw a card and try to search as best as possible for the other cards that you want, you can just discard them with Zebek, and you draw 2. That's pretty much it. It can be fuel for all of you the other effects, as well as a early game draw to try and find the rest. This is the same for Strusen. You kind of have him at 4, so but he's actually a better searcher, obviously, because you're looking at the top 2, seeing what you seeing the top 2. If you like them, you can place the one you like the most at the top, and then place them back on the top of the deck, and he'll make you draw that card. And then later on, the Zebek, once he swings, he'll be discarding a card and draw +2. So the other card that you saw will be drawn as well. If you don't like the cards, you're like, nah, this is not what I want to see, you can just place them on the bottom, draw the top card, and hopefully see something that you like. And then once again, Rocks will come in and drop another 2, hopefully later on, which will keep you seeing the cards that you need. That's why I'm playing 4 of each. These 2 are pretty much our searchers. In case you don't know, the meta has evolved as you always want to have 12 searchers. But in case of Rocks, he only plays like 8. I consider these 2 are 8 searchers because our 12 searchers, let's call it that, it's the Rocks effect himself. It's pretty much a searcher that's always on the field. So yeah, this has pretty good consistency. I'm now finding every single card that I need, to the point I actually have too much, and then I can just discard them with the Rocks effect even better, and Newgate and Cheeky. You can be pretty greedy on the later game if you find your pieces pretty early on, by the way. I can be very greedy by using Cheeky when attacking and on your opponent's attack, which means you're trashing 2 cards once every 2 turns, and same with Newgate, but you draw so much, and if you have your pieces, trust me, it's going to be so good that trashing 2 every 2 turns, it's actually very good. So yeah, this is why I'm playing these 2 at 4 each to max out the consistency. Then I'm playing Don Marlon at 2. I actually haven't played him yet, I haven't found the need to, but he's pretty much gonna be staying here. I think he's gonna be mandatory at 2. He's a pretty good card if you're going first, like you have SUSBCRIBE, which can play on a 3-down turn, and also Marlon. So he's gonna be upping that consistency a little bit on the 3-down turn if you want to. Not only that, he adds one of your blue events with cost of 0 from your chest to your hand, so you're pretty much getting your 2Ks back from trash. So I think he's gonna be mandatory at 2. To be honest, I wouldn't play him at 3 or 4. At 2, it's just perfect. You play him whenever you need to. Also, no, I did use him once. Actually, pretty cool. So I had the Tendon, I've been swinging, and my opponent still had 1 blocker. But I still had the Tendon, and I had my leader leader swing to use. So I used 3-down to Marlon, get my There's No Authority in the World That Lasts Forever effect. Use the effect to make my leader unblockable, attach everything else, which is 6-down, swing 11, and then my opponent just had no cards on the hand to protect. So it did come up once only for now, but it's still very good to recycle your 2Ks because you only, like, these are the only consistent 2Ks that you run. So yeah, pretty good to have at 2. I wouldn't go up or down, 2 is perfect. Then you have SUSBCRIBE, absolutely 4 of. Insane card, as I told you, she can stun 1 up to 2 characters. You can play her on 3-down turn as well when going first. Her on play is not as good if you do that, but still you can just set up a body and then later on you can choose either to swing with her or activate her main effect to rest her and rest plus 3-down and then just stun anybody, like, if it doesn't matter if it's a 12k, it's 10 cost, 12 cost, 24 cost, we don't care. She can stun any character, so insanely strong. She's gonna be insanely strong on blue yellow Nami as well, but it is what it is. So yeah, not only that, when you're playing mid-range, so when you don't feel the need that you need to play Lily or Kaido or your later cards, later characters like Chicken and Newgate, sometimes the game does go a bit, does prolong a little bit and does not finish fast. So I already have a Newgate and Shiki. I don't feel the need to play Zebek to play +2 characters. So I kind of just play SUSBCRIBE, stun 2 bodies with her on play and activate main. And I still have 4 Dawn to use. So sometimes I play Kaido or play Gloriosa for their effects as well. Like Gloriosa and SUSBCRIBE, like on the 10 Dawn turn, is really good. She stuns 2 bodies. Gloriosa removes a 5-cost body like that into some matchups. Just kills the matchup insanely. Makes your opponent on the next turn don't have anything to do besides build a little bit of board and swing with leader, to be honest. So yeah, she's very good, very good. Obviously a 4-up. Wangzi, I don't know if that's how you say his name, sorry, is kind of a card here that's just here because, well, Purple NL still is very strong. And so obviously I'm gonna be playing him as a tech. If the Purple NL drops in popularity, we can just drop this too, and then I would play Captain John. By the way, I'm not playing Captain John right now because I thought he was going to be better. He's good. Don't get me wrong, he's a good card. When he's rested, your opponent can only swing onto him. He's a 6k character, so it's harder to swing onto him than to swing onto your leader, so it's worth protecting him. Not only that, once you play him, you can activate main, you rest the character, which already activates his effect of your opponent only being able to swing onto him, and then you draw 1, trash 1, which ups the consistency, which is something I was complaining about when not playing with Gil. I'll get to why I'm not playing him. I'm playing full ahead. Once I get to full ahead, I'll explain why. But yeah, if Wangzi is just not a good card for that meta, he's a blocker. It's not bad because he's a blocker still. But most of the time, like if I don't see Purple NL on the other side, I rather play Kaido, to be honest, as a blocker, and he's just fuel for my leader effect or any other effects. So yeah. But yeah, it's an okay card. It's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucks that you have to play this just for a specific matchup, but that specific matchup is so strong that you feel the need to play it. But it is what it is. Then for Kaido is a blocker. He's very helpful because he's a blocker, because if you're don't want to use your effects and trash cards from hand, you can just block with him. Not only that, on play, you reveal 3 cards with Rocks Pirates, which is every single card, and then one of your opponent's characters becomes -3k. This will help you. For example, I've used this a ton of times. The -3k from Kaido makes so Kyo can actually swing with his 4k, and it's very annoying, sometimes even Strusen, or sometimes a bigger body and you just swing with leader. So it comes in very handy. Once again, if you want to play somewhat mid-range, if you're not seeing the need to drop these 2, or you already have these 2, or don't have them and you need because you don't have these 2 in your hand, he's also a very good card to play. And so like all of your mid-range, to be honest, feels so much better than your late game bodies. But your late game bodies are necessary and are also strong. I'll get to them. So yeah, he's a 4-up. I wouldn't go down or I wouldn't go down on copies. Very cool because he's a blocker. So yeah, Gloriosa, absolutely insane 4-up. She's a blocker that removes somebody. You can do so many plays with her. I already talked about with Stussy. You can also make some combos, like when playing Rocks and activating its effect. You can play like Lily to draw 2 or make your opponent trash 2. That's up to him. Usually they give you a draw 2, which is very good. And then you can still play Gloriosa with the Rocks effect and get something removed. And then you're going up on fuel in hand and taking a card from your opponent's field and setting up a block. So she's just so insane in terms of combo extenders like Stussy, Linley. I don't know, man. There has been times where I play Kaido and Gloriosa, and it's so amazing, to be honest. Pretty much, you want to play her when you're playing something else on a mid-range, but she's very good on her own too. But you'll feel her strength when you're playing her with something else, when you're playing for that mid-range or using the Rocks effect. So absolutely 4-up. Then we have Lily, an absolutely insane card as well. Once again, Blue-Yellow Nami will absolutely abuse this, by the way, because she's super generic. Gloriosa is also super generic, so she probably can be used on Blue-Yellow Nami, but I just feel like Lily is just so good on, it's gonna be so good on that Blue-Yellow Nami. We play 4-up. She's pretty much gonna, she has a great stat line, 5 cost, 7k power. That's insane, but her effect will keep a fuel on our hand for every other of our effects, and to keep our consistency, because usually, as I said, your opponent does not trash 2 cards, they actually give us almost every time 2 cards to hand. And so we're playing like with 15 cards in hand, thanks to her. So she's very good. She's very good to play on curve as well when you're going first on a 5-down turn. She's just all around an incredible card. And once again, I already told you, if you're playing mid-range, she has really good combo potential. So yeah. Then we have our two boys here, our two big bodies. I kind of really love playing mid-range with the rocks, not gonna lie, but I understand why these guys are needed. Newgate, on play, he replaces himself by drawing a card, already good. And then once per turn, when your leader is attacking or getting attacked, you can trash one card and give him 3k power. So pretty much he's a point guard, build it inside of him in his effect. Not only that, he's a 8k power, 6 cost, so his start line is pretty good. So he's gonna help us do pretty good damage to our opponent. Not only that, with rocks, you can see here on his alt art, actually this is the alt art, not the normal art. With the rocks, you have a pretty insane combo of playing rocks, playing Newgate, and then playing Stussy. Stussy will stun a body of 5 cost or less, and then you have your Newgate, which is a very big body that will help you trash your bricks as counter. So the alt art kind of gives away that's the perfect curve. But most of the time, I actually just love playing like two very mid-range bodies with rocks. When I already have these two on the field. If I don't, then yeah, you kind of need to give priority because they are going to keep your defenses up. But other than that, I usually just love to play mid-range with the deck. And yeah, next is Shiki. Now, Shiki, he has Rush character. He does not replace himself, but the Rush character, you know, as being a 7 cost 9k power, it's pretty insane. Not only that, when you attack with him or when your opponent attacks, you can just trash one Rocks Pirates card and give your opponents a minus 3k power. This guy is just insane to get rid of board very early in the game. Like, you swing with him, you can trash one card and just give the character that you are swinging with him into minus 3k. Pretty insane, not gonna lie. And then once again, like him with Newgate, just keep your defenses up. Usually I only try to place one of them, each one of them on the board, and then try to fill up the rest with their mid-range. But there have been times Shiki is so insane. I do prefer play Shiki over Newgate, where Shiki is just so insane with his Rush character that I kind of have like 2 on the field or even 3. But yeah, he's somewhat expensive on the Dawn. He's a 7 cost. Later on, maybe, again, I love playing mid-range. I can't stress this enough. I love playing mid-range with the deck, but you need to have one of each at least. And so yeah, sometimes when I'm not finding a good combo with the mid-range, I just play another one of him, and that helps a lot. I usually prefer playing him on the and not Newgate if I'm gonna be playing more than one of each, simply because of his Rush character. 9k power is very good as well. So yeah. Then we have Rocks. Now, Rocks is a very weird card indeed. Rocks is a 2k on your hand, and you actually, I've seen people discussing, do you actually use Rocks as 2k? Absolutely. Your board, again, I'm playing mid-range a lot of times, and only that when I played on the sim, because this guy was bugged, I kind of learned this. You are not afraid to use him as a 2k because you're only using him his on-play effect if you really need to. Because you sum the board so well, and your board is hard to deal with later on because of your effects of Newgate or Shiki in this case, and then you have the other events, blockers, whatever. You actually storm the board so fast, so good, not so fast, but really good characters that when you play him, if you want to use his on-play effect, you're kind of replacing bodies on the field most of the time. And sometimes if I don't really want to get rid of those bodies, I just don't play him, and again, go mid-range once again, and this helps a lot, by the way. This actually works insanely well. You're kind of only playing one per game if you're playing him, but yeah, I think this is really good that they made him a 2k because you're actually not playing for him in specific. If your opponent has tech cards, for example, I told you that I love playing mid-range. If your opponent, one of the cards that I find the most annoying is Hakai. Hakai can get rid of a lot of your cards, except Chiki, and so if you don't have Kyo, they remove 2 cards from your field, and then you can play Rocks. That's like when they remove a lot of your board in one turn, that's when you play Rocks. Other than that, he's a 2k, you don't really need his 12k power. Obviously, it's very good, but you don't really need it, because all of the stats on your cards are good, all of the effects are so good, so most of the time you don't really need him, because your board is already flooded every time. But again, if your opponent is playing a more removal type of deck, and he actually finds a way to remove 2 to 3 bodies in one turn, then Rocks just comes in and just rebuilds that board insanely. So yeah, then you have your 2k events, 4 of each. It's pretty mandatory. This one, which has a long ass name, it's the best one because it makes your rocks unblockable. This is true to the character or the leader. You can use on both. So yeah, he's used a bit more. Not only that, you only rest 1 Dawn if you want to use that. And then it's a 2k. Then you have Rocks Pirates. It's not as used because you already have so much stun with Stussy and Gloriosa. And only that, you have Cheeky that kind of removes the body, you know, by swinging onto the rest of the bodies. But you may rest 5 Dawn, return up to one of your opponent's characters. Actually, you return any character with a cost of 5, or actually 6 or less to the owner's hand. So you can use that on your own board or on your opponent's board. It depends on what you want to do. I feel like if you're spending 5 Dawn, it usually goes for your opponent's board. It's not bad, but again, there are so many cards right now that just remove two bodies. It's too many events that remove 2 bodies at a time, that this one feels kind of lacking, you know? But still, pretty good 2k counter. The effect will come up from time to time. I'm not saying that he won't, but it's pretty good. So yeah. Then we have Full Ahead. Full Ahead, I'm only playing 2. I actually had it cut for the Captain John. But then, after talking on the Discord, I'm trying it at 2. Again, I feel like John has some use here, depending on the meta. But Full Ahead does make every single one of your cards a 1k once per turn. So Lily will make one of your cards a 1k, and then you have Full Ahead again, making 1 card of 1k. This will just up the consistency on the defense. But like, I hate seeing this card, to be honest, unless it's on the very early game or when I already have everything set up and I'm playing mid-range. You always have something better to play on curve than this, but if you don't, then you play it. But I'm not giving this priority. I'm giving priority to Tristan and Kyo because they are just, again, up in the consistency. This does not draw, so yeah, that's why I'm playing only 2. It's just attack. But if I see anything, I will drop it and put Captain John back. But it's pretty good. It's okay, to be honest. It's an okay card. Compared to some stages out there, this actually is pretty lacking as well. But I'm playing it too, just to up the consistency. Now, Captain John, I already talked about. I'm not playing him because I don't find really the space for now. I'm trying this. Ganzui, I thought he was going to be better. Not gonna lie, he still has a really good stat line. I could think about removing Wang Zi for him. He's a 5 cost 7k power. That makes our leader a 6k during your opponent's turn. Not only that, he protects our board just like Kyo. Only he's stronger, but yeah. I'm not playing him because Lily is pretty good, and we have 4 costs. So not talking about our 5 down play, usually I either play Lily or the other cards. Even Stussy on the 5 down turn is somewhat better than this guy, not gonna lie. But yeah, he can be good. I'll see. He's one of the cards that I'm still... Him and Captain John are cards I'm still thinking about playing. But then there's one card that I'm not thinking about playing, which is Barbell. His effect on paper is very good. On KO, your opponent pretty much places 2 cards on the bottom of their deck. And activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand, and this character becomes a 10k power character. It's very good because your opponent will... on paper, it's very good because your opponent will never want to swing on him. Onto him, because then they will be trashing 2 cards. Trashing, not really trashing, bottom decking 2 cards. And his stat line is very good. It's just like... Again, just like Genzui, you kind of always playing something else. Like, Leaning, making you draw is so much better than like playing one card that may or may not have that much value, you know? So I think in priority would be Captain John if I want to include them, then Gansui, then Barbell. All these cards, by the way, are good. Maybe actually, now that I'm thinking, Barbell may be better in Blue Yellow Nami. So yeah. I don't know, yeah, maybe. To have a consistent 7k swing, it is what it is. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That goes in this same priority. But it is what it is. This was the video. That's pretty much what I've been playing. If you want to try this this deck, again, in the description. The strategy is somewhat simple. You kind of go first or second. Try to see what your opponent likes the most, because you actually have cards to go both ways. Try to use your searchers and leader effect to keep the consistency and seeing what you need on the matchup. Usually you're gonna be adapting on whatever you have in hand and whatever your opponent has on the board with your mid-range characters. On curve, the only characters you love playing on curve are Newgate and Cheeky. And then, once again, on your Tendon, you don't really play rocks. You see if you need rocks. If you don't, you keep going mid-range. Playing Stussy and resting her right away will stun 2 bodies. That's usually what I love to do on Tendon. And then just attach everything else and swing. Only play rocks when your opponent removes a lot of your board in one turn. He will rebuild that board. Not only that, is a 12k, so rebuilding that board and a 12k body is insane. Other than that, I'm usually not afraid to use them as a 2k. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.